First, let me clarify my point.
Opiuma SL World. Opiuma SL World, political philosophical podcast presents Slavoj Žižek's critique of Western ideals. Slavoj Žižek, the provocative Slovenian philosopher and cultural critic, offers a sharp critique of Western societies, exposing the contradictions at the heart of capitalism, democracy, and ideology. His views challenge the ideals that the West often holds up as its greatest achievements, such as liberal democracy, human rights, and multiculturalism. Žižek argues that Western liberal democracy is not a true expression of freedom, but rather a mask that hides the contradictions of capitalism. While liberal democracies tout individual freedom and human rights, Žižek claims they ultimately serve the interests of the capitalist elite. In the neoliberal system, people may have the freedom to vote and express opinions, but they are still controlled by market forces that create inequality and exploitation. One of Žižek's most biting criticisms is the West's hypocrisy when it comes to promoting human rights. Western powers often justify military interventions under the banner of spreading democracy. But these actions often serve imperialist motives, like controlling resources and maintaining global capitalist dominance. He points to Western interventions in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya, which, while framed as humanitarian missions, often destabilize nations and lead to disaster. Žižek sees Western consumerism as another ideological tool that pacifies the masses. Rather than offering true freedom, consumerism creates a cycle of endless desire. People are encouraged to chase happiness through material goods, status, and pleasure, which only leads to alienation and dissatisfaction. This false promise of liberation, Žižek argues, masks the deeper economic exploitation at the core of capitalist societies. While Western countries proudly claim to be multicultural and tolerant, Žižek argues that this is often a superficial stance. Multiculturalism in the West can reinforce cultural relativism and treat cultures as isolated entities, without addressing the deeper inequalities within capitalist systems. Furthermore, many Western societies harbor deep-seated xenophobic attitudes toward immigrants and refugees, contradicting their proclaimed values of inclusivity. Finally, Žižek warns that capitalism, particularly in the West, is heading toward a crisis. The contradictions within the system, growing inequality, environmental destruction, and social instability are unsustainable in the long run. Yet Žižek is critical of the lack of political imagination in the West, where the capitalist system is often seen as unchallenged and beyond reform. Žižek's critique pushes for a deeper examination of the contradictions within the West's political and economic systems. He doesn't just attack Western ideals. He exposes how they often disguise deeper issues like exploitation, inequality, and imperialism. His work encourages a radical rethinking of Western values, urging us to confront the uncomfortable realities of global capitalism, environmental crises, and the true nature of freedom in capitalist society.
It's nice irony. A Western Christian country invades Iraq, and the result is Christians are out. What Islam was not able to do in